Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's Una from Bella Retreats, and I have a good friend and colleague here with me today, Carrie Varela, and we're going to be talking about her upcoming retreat, WhaleSong, called to California. So, hey, Carrie, how are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. It's a gorgeous day here in the Pacific Northwest and really happy to be here with you. We've had a chance to collaborate on, I don't know, like 7 or 8 retreats in our lifetime. So it's exciting to be here with you and with fellow retreats again and looking forward to this upcoming offering next spring.
Yeah, beautiful. We know each other from the Denver yoga community. We've worked at a number of studios together over the last few years, and then we've had the opportunity to plan a number of retreats in multiple places, Colorado, Bali, and now California. Did I miss one? Do we have another one in there, or maybe in New Mexico or something? No,
No,
that was it.
no,
Okay, okay,
that was
okay.
it. That was it.
All right. So this year you are planning a trip to tell us about this place, this location. I believe this is where you live now. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about the location and why you guys chose to live there and what's so special about it.
Yeah, so about 3 years ago, like the universe gave me a big life upgrade. We moved from Colorado to Northern California, and we had this thought that we wanted to live where the redwoods meet the ocean, and
Oh,
kind of like circle the spots on the map. And my husband got a job out here, and within like basically 6 to 7 months of planning it all, we were basically on the road out to California. And so we landed in this really sweet spot in way North California. It's about 5 hours north of San Francisco, and live in a very unpopulated part of California, which is kind of a unique uh, juxtaposition considering how big California is, how many people are here, but we live in a very rural part. And basically found this home in one of the smallest towns in California. It's called Trinidad.
mm.
And Trinidad is a really historic town, has a lot of um, amazing history going all the way back to Native American people who've lived here for thousands of years. Um, but the town itself is built up on this little hill, and it's overlooking a harbor.
Mm.
And so, and it's one of the first few harbors that happen along the California coast for a little bit. And
Mm.
one of the really special things about this place is a couple times a year, the whales come through.
Okay.
They migrate from Baja California all the way up to Alaska. And so they come through twice a year.
Mm.
And in April, they come through with their little baby calves. And so they
Mm.
come really close to the shore with their babies, and they love the harbor because it's just a chill, safe spot for the moms and the babies to hang out. And so a couple times
Nice.
a year, we get this awesome landscape of the whales and the energy of the whales coming through town. And
Now,
so
what kind of whales are these?
So gray whales. Gray whales
Okay.
make their transit, and then we do see other kinds of whales. Sometimes there's humpbacks and killer whales come through every
Mm,
once in a while, but they don't have like a strict migration pattern as the gray whales. So they're just kind of here when they're here. And
nice.
yeah, so that's a little bit of the magic of this area. And ever since moved here, there's this little Airbnb that's called WhaleSong, and that just like sparked something so beautiful inside me. I thought, God, like the whales, they have this amazing energy, this beautiful song, and I wanted to bring more people here so they could experience. I live right at the gateway of Redwood State National Parks. So it's just like a 30-minute jaunt up the road. And, there's redwoods all over California, but I'm like right next to the national park. So
Mm,
a quick
there's,
trip up there, and I get to go hang out with the redwoods and whales and the ocean. It's pretty blissful out here.
Beautiful. Yeah, it feels like both whales and redwoods both feel very like nurturing and calming energetically to me.
Mhm.
Like I just want to hug a redwood and feel, cozy with the earth. And then the whales are so special. I'm here in Australia now and they come through as well. And every time we glimpse them, it's like a big yay and a surprise and an applause. And we're just always happy to glimpse their energy because they're just these sweet giant ocean creatures that just bring this big feeling of joy and peace. And yeah, it's beautiful to have the combination, I think, of the ocean and the whales and then the forest and the redwoods together. Makes a really beautiful balancing act, I'd say.
Totally. And some of that actually comes from when I was in Australia. I studied abroad there and I studied rainforest ecology and reef ecology.
Mm.
And so I got a little bit of both the rainforest and the ocean. And yeah, I've always been a fan of that ever since. So
And then we're integrating this with Reiki. That's one of the things you do besides yoga. We've got yoga, of course, and I'd love to hear more about that and where you're at with your practice, but also the Reiki component and bringing in the energetics and yeah, how that all folds in and how you like to integrate that.
yeah. So I have had a chance to study Reiki for over 15 years now. And I've always had a little bit of a heart tug in the world of Reiki because there's a lot of appropriation that has happened in Reiki, meaning that, we kind of take something from another culture. We, do what we do in America, which is like kind of melting pot it, mash it up with a bunch of other things, and then, make something that's kind of uniquely Western. Um, and I always had a little struggle with that, with my background in anthropology. Sometimes a purist, sometimes not a purist about things. But over the last few years, I've been really studying traditional forms of Reiki, which come from Japan.
Mm,
And Reiki in and of itself is something that's been around for about 100 years. But the esoteric and mystical roots of Reiki really stretch back deep into the indigenous culture of Japan, including Shinto traditions and esoteric Buddhism.
mm,
So I've been studying that a lot more in depth. And if I could shortcut all of that, it's really just about Reiki is really just about finding your true self
mm,
and your authentic self and
mm,
living your life from that place.
mm,
And to me, one of the greatest ways to access that kind of that connection to your authentic self is through nature.
mm,
Um, And so the retreat that I'll be offering with you guys is going to be over Earth Day weekend. And
mm,
just we'll have plenty of times to be in nature, but also kind of exploring this idea of how do we connect to our true self using the medicine of nature and Reiki and yoga too, because sometimes energy work can kind of be a little bit disembodying. So I've always loved Reiki and yoga together because they're like yin and yang of each other. There's this like deep spiritual part that I can access through Reiki, and then there's also this deep embodiment that I practice with yoga. And so,
mm.
kind of finding that sweet spot in between those is really it's where I like to live. So,
Beautiful. I'm feeling that, yeah, yin yang balance again between the ocean and the redwoods and yoga and Reiki. It's like the physical embodiment and the energetic embodiment coming through. Both of those coming together, all those elements coming together. So it sounds really like nurturing and nourishing and yeah, like a good way to explore some, a place in Northern California that maybe you haven't been before. Why else might somebody like to come on this retreat? What would be um, the benefits of them going or why they might be interested?
well, like it kind of depends where you're from. So if you're from
Mm,
a different country other than the United States, and I think it's true for anybody in the United States too, but the Pacific Northwest is a really hard place to travel through, mostly because a lot of the campgrounds and everything is in a lot of high demand. And
mm,
so when I traveled I did one trip through the Pacific Northwest and honestly we planned it all out like 8 months in advance. And it was like really stressful. We kind of didn't really know the land. And but we had to like get our camping reservations and all the things lined up way in advance. So
Mhm.
one of the reasons why you come on this retreat is that I do all of that for you. And I just kind of get you the best spots we of aligned so that you can really experience the best of what this little area of the world has to offer. Um,
Mm.
you don't have to do any of the, the research, and you just get to drop into a really awesome weekend without a whole lot of planning and just show up and enjoy the experience.
Beautiful. So it sounds really accessible and easy for people to just hop on board. Tell me again, it's Earth Day, but what's the exact date? That would be,
Yeah, so it's April 19th through the 23rd. It's 5 days, 4 nights,
yeah.
and just a long weekend, which I think is about perfect amount of time.
Hmm.
And even though I live in kind of a rural place, we have an airport about 15 minutes away from me. And so kind of depending where you're coming from, sometimes you can get direct flights or sometimes you can get a couple layovers to us. But once you're here, you're like here, and it won't be a huge long trip to your retreat accommodations. The
Right. So kind of like a long weekend, fly in, fly out, easy to fly in and out from the States, and just easy to kind of show up and have things taken care of for you. And yeah, tell us a little bit more about the accommodations.
Yeah, so the accommodations are all ocean view, and
Mm.
almost all of the rooms have an ocean view from your room that you're staying in. If not from the room, from the place where you're staying,
Hmm.
and they're just right seaside, so hopefully plenty of chances to see the whales as they traverse by, and it's all one thing I love about California is the sunsets. The sunsets are so
Mm.
epic. Western side of this continent, so we'll get to watch some amazing sunsets together. And I chose the retreat accommodations. Some of them are actually my friends who live out here, and so really great way to benefit the local community by coming on the retreat. There's a lot of people that we're going to be benefiting and supporting small businesses on the
Mm.
retreat. But also they're just like amazing, beautiful homes, and a lot of times, like if you are traveling through the area, you can get like a 1 bedroom place or 2 bedroom place. But I love the idea of just like having a big house with a bunch of people. And that's another thing that I really want to weave into the retreat is just like the nourishing time that we can have in community.
Mm.
Um, and I know that like life in the post-COVID era, it's can be a little isolating. And I've always been a firm believer in the power of community and just coming together. And so I've had the opportunity to lead retreats like this in the past. It's just really awesome how, over the course of a few days, we can really get beyond all the get to know you places, and within a really short amount of time become like very very in tune with other people, very in touch, make new friends almost immediately.
Mm.
And yeah, so and we all just have this camaraderie and like a kind of group vibe that
Mm.
shows up. It's all really unique based on the people who show up. And yeah, it's always
Mm.
lovely to see how
I
that.
love that. I love that. So this is just this beautiful opportunity to do a nice, long, nourishing weekend with nature and new friends, and check in with your yoga practice and in tune with your own, inner self, and also connect with like-minded community in a gorgeous seaside setting.
Totally. And one other thing, Una, I would love to mention is that I do try to make all of the accommodations really accessible for folks. So if you
Mm.
have an injury, if you have a different body type, or don't have a huge yoga practice, you're totally welcome on this retreat.
Mm.
And then saying that, also accommodating those of you who have like an intense yoga practice, there's some mindful times on the schedule and the retreat where people can go out and do more exercise if they want.
Mhm.
There's a space at one of the accommodations to do your own practice as well. So just lots of fluidity for all different types of folks. And I'm always
Right.
happy to work with everybody who arrives and registers on the retreat to make it, really the experience that they're looking for.
Great options for people. And then you're going to take people on some experiences to the redwoods and kayaking, and what else do you have planned for people?
Well, kayaking is kind of the big Keystone experience, and
Mm,
it's always weather dependent. You know, the whales, they come through at a unique time of year. It's not the warmest time of year, but it's also not the coldest. So it's like
mm,
kind of a little bit of between. And the weather out here in the Pacific Northwest is just really nice and crisp and cool
mm,
most of the year, anyways. But main thing is that we're going to get out into the harbor and hopefully and kayak and get close with the whales.
mm.
It is a little dependent on whether the weather will cooperate, but if the weather doesn't cooperate, we have like tons of other options. And so then we're going to be hiking, and the where the retreat accommodations are actually really close to another state park that has a lot of roots to the Native American people here, and so we have time to do some guided walks. Well, not guided, but just self-guided walks through um, what's called Sumeg State Park.
Okay, beautiful. It sounds really cozy and nurturing, and like you're going to get a lot of nature experiences, and people that would be interested in this would be yoga types or Reiki enthusiasts or somebody who just needs a nice, nourishing, relaxing, adventurous weekend all in one. And yeah, they get to have you as the guide and the host, so you sound like you're going to take really good care of people. And I know from previous retreats that you do. All my clients that go on your retreats really love it and have a beautiful time. So yeah, just I'm glad to get you on here today real quickly to make sure that people know about this. And we are definitely back into travel mode. A lot of people are at this time, and I think we're all really looking for meaningful experiences that have us connect to things that are important to us. And I know a lot of people feel like nature and like-minded community and their yoga practices and yeah, these experiences in nature that you don't get to have all the time, especially with the whales being in this special moment and really honoring the earth and Earth Day. All sounds like this beautiful combination um, for a beautiful opportunity and experience for everyone. So I'm really glad that we can get the word out, make sure everyone knows about it, and let us know. Is there a sign up special coming up right now? I think there is. I'm just looking for it to get
Yeah, so
people.
it's $25 off your retreat price. It's an early bird special through January 15th. And
Okay.
if you're not ready to book in full, we can always do a payment plan and just make it work financially for you. Always happy to see what I can do there.
Okay, so you're right, willing to work with people. So if people want to register, sign up, or they have more questions, they can pop over to bellaretreats.com and also to your site. So go ahead and give them your site name as well.
Yeah. If you go to ReikiHealingSociety.com, one of the top navigation pages is WhaleSong. And so, scroll through, familiarize yourself with all the details. There's a link to, well, you can email me, info
Okay.
at Reiki Society with questions, but you can also the link for a discovery call. So if you want to chat, and I've known I've had a lot of people been with me on retreat before. That's like kind of the best way to get your questions answered, because we can like get on Zoom together and look at some pictures or talk about the experience that you'll be having, and make sure you're signing up for the right weekend for you.
Yeah, great. And then people can also find you on Instagram. What is that handle as well? So they can find you there.
Yeah, you can find me at Reiki Healing Society.
Mhm.
So that's me, Reiki Healing Society. You can find
Great.
me, Carrie Varela, as well, but most of the stuff that I do through my business is on Reiki Healing Society.
Okay. Great. So Reiki Healing Society, Wales, Redwoods, yoga, Reiki. with Carrie over Earth Day weekend. I love this story. This sounds so yummy and nurturing and just like a very cozy, beautiful weekend. So just wanted to make sure everyone knew about this, and you can connect with me or Carrie about it if you have any questions. But we'd love to get the right group of people signed up for this. And those of you who feel the call and who feel interested and feel a yes for this, let's hop on a chat, or reach out. Let's talk, and we'll see if we can get you signed up for that experience.
I love that.
Yeah, gorgeous. Well, it's good to see you as always, and it's really lovely that you've sort of made your own personal journey and leap to make a big move with your family, and now you just get to welcome people to this special part of the world that you live in now, and that you sounds like you really love.
Absolutely. It's just such a special place. And I just feel really inspired to share it with people, in the right container and just the right respectful way, so that we can, I don't know, appreciate one of the things that, one of the places, most beautiful places in the world. So
Beautiful. Gorgeous. Thanks for coming on today, and reach out anyone if you are interested, and we'd love to get you on the WhaleSong Retreat. Thank you.
absolutely. That would be
Yeah.
so.
Great to see you today, Carrie. Thank you. Have a good evening, and we will talk to you very soon.